got something very important to discuss. Welcome back to the SpewnedIt Podcast.
Yeah.
The dream.
Yeah, we haven't done this in a while, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like we used to speak about this kind of stuff a lot.
I know.
But there's been something that it was many years in the making, and it's now been made.
Yeah.
It's been watched.
Indeed.
By both of your SpewnedIt brothers. And so now it's time to unpack it a little bit more. Jensen, are they ready? Are the people ready?
4. Too Gladiator, Too Furious. The Reckoning.
I thought you were going to go with two brothers.
Oh, I should have.
In a van.
In a Coliseum.
No, in a Coliseum. We're going to talk about Gladiator 2.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's what we're
If
doing.
we can clear our throats enough to speak. I will say, loved the title sequence. Like, it's got Gladiator, and then the I becomes like Roman numeral 2. I was wondering how they were going to do that.
That was cold.
Because there's a pivot art to creating a sequel film, and that is the title. And some people, like the DC people, are the worst. Like, they have The Suicide Squad, and then the sequel is called Suicide Squad, or maybe it's the other way around. I don't even know. Like, there's no way to tell. And you just have to pay attention to the year after the movie title, which is ridiculous. It's silly.
Yeah.
Gladiator 2, nailed it. Simple, clean, excellent. Recaps the first film right there as you were watching the title, the names roll, which is excellent.
In like a great artsy
way.
It was almost like a live pastel
sandy
painting.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that was cool. That was dope. I was ready at this point. I was in the cinema. Me and my boys went to go see my brother Dan.
Of course.
Our mate Kit.
Yes.
I was locked in.
Yeah.
I was locked in. I was like, we're in the cinema. I had multiple snacks, far too many snacks.
Yes.
But I was like, it was zoned in. Do you know what I mean? I was pumped. And then the film, begins.
Right. How do we feel about it?
How do we want to unpack this, gents? Do we want to go through the film, or do we want to almost give a starting point each and then break it down? How do we maybe plan this? But
yeah. Well, so
I'm open for anything.
I say let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's say what we thought. Let's give a rating. Let's give a number. Can you think of a number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of 10. Number out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Got one.
All right. We got letterbox scores coming hot to you. I said this was a 7 for me.
Oof.
Which I'll explain my rating scale if you haven't heard me talk about movies before.
Yeah.
For me, 5 is like an okay movie. Dead middle. It is okay. It is not egregiously bad in some way. It's not good. I'm not going to recommend you a 5. Anything higher than a 5, I will recommend to you in some context. It could be, you're looking for a goofy movie. Probably I put that as a 6. Like a good time. It's not going to challenge you. It's not going to blow your mind, but it's all right. That's like a 6. A 7 is a step above that. It's what I would call pretty good. It's not going to blow your mind again, but it has good enough elements, and it's like it starts to be rewatchable for me, like something that I would want to go revisit. So that's what this one was to me. It's something that in some time I think I would watch again.
Yeah, heard. Okay, heard in a major way. I think that's generous. I'm gonna be honest there.
Okay.
Yeah, really. I was not a fan.
Wow.
When you asked me for a number, I'm gonna be honest. I was juggling somewhere between either a 6 and a 4.
Wow.
It's seriously not a fan.
I'm shocked.
And I think
I'm actually shocked.
Provide a different end of and actually where my heart is.
Yeah, no, be honest.
I'm gonna go with a 4. I'm gonna go with a 4.
Wow.
I was not a fan. I was not impressed.
Okay.
Yeah. And so here we are to break this down. Firstly, welcome to the SpewnedIt Podcast.
Indeed.
It's so good to have you here. Let us know your thoughts on this. Okay. If you're on YouTube, you can comment on the video. And if
Spotify has comments of some sort. I can put a poll up. You can answer the poll. Let us know.
We can get a poll on that.
I want to get your scores.
Let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
If you've seen it. Let us know your score out of 10. But yeah, not impressed. The main reason being,
Sure.
I felt like the film could not decide whether or not it was trying to do something quite similar to the first one, pardon me, or go off and do its own thing. I felt like it just couldn't decide, and there were so many points in the film where maybe it would do one or the other, or it would try and do both.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you just make a choice, just decide, and then stick with it. And I felt like it just couldn't make its mind up. Yeah, I was not impressed. I felt like bless his heart, Ridley Scott. I felt like he probably just got a bit excited by the whole idea, and I get that. It was an excitable idea. You know, the return
Sure.
of like just this whole idea was colossal. But yeah, I found it tough to watch. I thought the scale of everything was great, and it looked good. But I was like, there's so much more that you've got as potential here.
Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't watch it again, and I wouldn't recommend it.
Wow. Okay. So since you've gone and said your dislikes, I'll continue with mine.
Kenneth.
I do
Okay,
not.
yeah,
I
go
do
on.
think I do agree with you. This is a deeply flawed film. I like your criticism. I do think it is a also confused film. I think there are many points in which it fails to live up to the original while clearly trying to do so. The number one for me was actually the main protagonist, Paul Mescal, or Lucius, or whatever his other name was. That was his like secret name, whatever. I forget.
Oh yeah,
But Lucius,
yeah.
main guy, right?
Lucius.
I think back to a scene where, so at the very beginning, he goes into like the underground cage pits, right, where he fights the monkeys, and it's kind of like the one that leads up to the Coliseum. You know, you got to prove yourself there. Same thing that happens with Russell Crowe in the original,
when Denzel
of course.
sees him. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he like bites a monkey, right? He's weaponless. He's always got the chains that he's shackled with, right? And he uses his teeth. He does anything to survive, kind of thing, right? And then all the in the mess hall afterwards, all the guys start making monkey noises when he gets fed, right? And he's like leaning into it. He's like, oh, haha, good one. And they do a couple of those moments in the film where they have like the guys becoming endeared to this man as like their commander kind of thing. And it did not land for me at all. It just did not feel earned. It didn't feel, because with Crow, you've got, he's a general. I mean, Paul Mescal was some kind of commander in his own little army on the island at the beginning. So he's got a little bit of a pedigree there, but Crow is like this legendary commander. I think, do they even know who he is in the first one? Maybe not for like a bit. At some point they do, but he just leads them. Yeah, like with this kind of quiet, confidence, and then they all just kind of eventually fall into line. And they took a little more time, I think, to have that take place, to develop that, and it works in the first film and it does not in this one, and so that was tough to see. Because
that's interesting. Yeah,
it's such a big part of the film, because essentially you've got like a gladiator uprising in the end, right? And
yeah.
And if they don't have a great reason like to follow him, then it doesn't work. So thematically, that and like in terms of his character, I think that was a swing and a miss.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what other like major negatives I had. I mean, the score was at its best when it was mimicking the first one, right? Like harkening back to the classic Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
It didn't bring a whole lot new to the table in terms of that. The plot was like Force Awakens level of remake, right? Like down to secret plot gets thwarted night before, people get arrested. Underground fight leads into big fight, starting with big battle, like beat for beat plot points, which is not creative. I'm not going to give any points for that. However, I do understand where they're coming from. It's like, how many different stories are you going to tell with the Colosseum being the primary focus? And I did appreciate
I hear it.
the slight different angle of, well, I'll talk about things I like this. Those were my main takeaways. Thinking now, I saw it a few weeks ago now, so those are the ones that stuck with me. Whatever I thought at the time, I'm not. What were a couple things? Unless you had more things that you didn't like that you thought of.
I think
or critiques.
I think the thing is that I hope I'm making this clear, by the way, that like, I mean, this is definitely where my heart is, and Jens, I feel like this is where it is for you as well. Is that I really wanted to like this film.
Yeah, 100%,
I really
100%.
wanted, and so when I walked out the film, I was like, okay, I wasn't a fan of that, but why? I'm not just gonna walk out here and say no, rubbish film, end of. It's like no, I'm gonna have a reason. I'm gonna give something towards it as to why I'm feeling the way that I am. I think there were. Yeah, so just to like chuck in a few more things there, I really felt like the character of Paul Mescal. I was like, mate, you're allowed to raise your voice. I was like, you're allowed to shout. I wanted to hear him shout, and I felt like we saw that maybe once, twice. You know, you get to the last bit, he's talking to people on 2 hills away, and he's like, brothers. We must rise together for Rome. What? I can't. I'm at the back.
What did he say? Are we going to fight those guys? I think so.
Are we gonna? I think so. Okay.
Yes,
Paul,
true.
raise your voice, son. I wanna hear your lungs just like belting, and I did not hear that. And I feel like that's such a tiny thing. So get it right. Get it right. I think I feel like there was just quite a lot of focus and detail put on the wrong things. Now, I will say, like, it's much easier to play a good guy than a bad guy. To play a bad guy, you need to intentionally do things that are horrible and be hated. I think Denzel did that really well, and I think we'll unpack that a little bit in a bit. Because I like thinking about him, I'm like, oh man, he was grim. But I'm like, well, that's the point. He's meant to be this slimy snake who's just like twisted. But then when it came to the 2 kings, I was like, why do I hate them? And I was like, well, it's not actually because there's any depth or that they're actually horrible. It's just that 9 times out of 10 when they're painted, it's in just a horrible light where one of them's being groped and the other one is groping someone else. It's like, look, I get it that these 2 are a bit weird and they're a bit demented. But like, give me something else. Give me some structure. Like, give me some substance to hate him with. And there was just nothing. I just felt, like there were 2 Looney Tune characters that were always drunk and cooked and had no idea what they were doing. And that's why you're meant to hate them? It's like, nah. Just not, was not here for it. Okay, sorry, I'm going to calm down now. On the good points, it was so good to see Denzel in that place. He's as an actor, he's confident, he loves what he does, he enjoys it, and I think this was a slightly different side of him because most of the time we're used to seeing Denzel as the good guy. He's one of those actors. It's kind of like seeing Tom Hanks as a bad guy, or like
Tom Cruise.
I don't know, gents. Tom Cruise as a bad guy, or like I don't know, like Emily Blunt as a as a villain or a villainess. Like, what? You're not used to seeing it. And yet I loved seeing him in that role because I came out and I was like, man, I hate him. But it was done so well. It was done so... For sure. I hated every fiber of that guy's being for what he was doing to Lucius. And so I thought the character development was good. There was something I was going to say that I wasn't a massive fan of when it did come to him. I think the final fight between those 2 was a little bit whack. Like, when, so they're kind of fighting again. They've got these 2 guys on the hills just looking down. Yeah, great, that's okay. They're fighting, and then Lucius is in the water, and Denzel goes, why would you go in the water? Just like throw something at him. Get a bow and arrow. Just shoot him. Yeah. Why are you going in there as well, in your massive robes, to fight in the water? Like, I know that you're kind of like a rage-filled guy. I didn't understand that.
I've got one more I thought of.
Shoot, man. Go for it, man.
The arrow accuracy of everybody was insane. Like they've got Pedro Pascal and Lucius standing next to each other in the middle of the arena, and our arrows so from a mile away all miss Mescal and pepper Pedro Pascal like point blank as if they were shooting him from a foot away. Insane. And then again at the end, Denzel's just like, boom, just nails it. Yeah. Crazy. That was insane. That took me out of it. I was like, there's no way he doesn't get hit. And then he didn't get hit. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
These are not like English longbowmen. This is like
no, these are standard boys. Like how do they just kill it?
That was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and then like and then the little scene at the end. I don't even know what they're planning on. What was the ending, man? He's in there. He's like, I'll grab the ground. Speak to me, Father.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Yeah,
what?
I don't.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Are they trying to tee up for a Gladiator 3? Is that actually what they're trying to do?
Surely not.
Surely not. I think the thing is that at the core of it, they are always playing a dangerous game. If you ever bring back a film of this magnitude, you're playing with so much fire that it's almost not worth doing it, because you would have to crush it in every single way. And I think what was sad for me was looking back at some of the critics, like the early critics who got to see the film before us regular peasants did. And they all loved it, right? They were
really?
like, yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, from what I saw.
Okay.
Like, well, maybe that's a good point, actually. Maybe that was here in the UK. Went down to, thunderous applause. And I'm like, how much were you just kind of, like, how much did you just take the bait? How much were you just there kind of for clout and for excitement, and you wanted to get your name out there? Rather than being a bit more authentic and saying, that just wasn't very good. So, yeah. I don't know. Did you hear or see much of the critics of what people were saying before the film was actually released?
I didn't. I mean, I don't think a lot of the people I watch for movie reviews get like early screeners typically. I watched a couple just because I was curious. I knew I was going to see the movie, so I didn't want to like know the plot. So I watched a couple like spoiler-free things, and they mostly just kind of said what we're saying. It's just, it feels a little derivative of the first one. It doesn't quite hit the same notes. One, because it's doing something that's been done before. Two, because it's not doing it as well. And it's not, evolving the formula in a way that keeps it interesting in enough ways. Like we've been saying, Denzel, super duper highlight. Like, he was an excellent twist on that first guy from the first film who was like a good guy, former gladiator, helps him out, and kind of ultimately... But he pays for it a little bit, right? Doesn't he get caught with? I don't remember what happens to him, but he's a good guy. He's not like, the one who's actually the villain, right? It's the Emperor, and it works because the Emperor is, played by one of the living legends of acting in Joaquin Phoenix, and it just he crushes it, and he gives you 1,000,001 reasons to, wince at the sight of him.
Yes,
right?
yes. Oh yeah, he's horrible.
So
as a character.
And so when the twin emperors, they really sell hard that these are not guys to be liked. They're like, oh, the people hate them. They're on the brink of riot. And then the first time you see them, they're like in this weird scene, and they're like, oh, fight to the death now. And they're like, oh, well, they were just gonna fight with no, they were hand to hand, whatever. So it was just this whole, they oversold it. I did like.
It felt forced.
That, for me, wasn't as big of a negative just because Denzel was the one pulling the strings the whole time. And once that became clear, it was like, okay, these guys are pawns anyway, so it doesn't totally matter to me that they're not like as fleshed out as the Emperor in the original. So that wasn't as big of a miss. I totally see what you're saying, though. I think highlights for me, if you're ready to move on to that,
yes, for sure.
was the battles and the visuals. Just always so good.
Epic.
And I love how much they brought in like water too. One more negative
was a bit crazy.
Along with that is the shark. I didn't love the shark. It felt a little unnecessary. It's not a big deal. I half expected, honestly, when Denzel Washington got in the river at the end, I half expected a shark to come and like bite him or something.
That would have been fun. But I would have laughed at that. Yeah.
But like the sea battle was epic. That was cool. It was different.
Yeah, that was.
I love the idea of flooding the arena. I have this memory in my brain that I can't find anywhere, but I could have sworn to you that there's another scene like that in another Gladiator movie, like a Spartacus or like a Ben-Hur or something, where they fill up the Colosseum with water and have a boat battle. But I couldn't find it anywhere, and so I feel like I'm gaslighting myself, but I don't know. I have this memory of seeing a movie where that happens, and so I knew that in the trailer they show that's this one, right? And so I knew that this was coming. I was like, oh, cool, it's happening again, but I don't know what the original was. That was cool. The battles
Well,
are
look,
great.
if you know what Jensen's talking about, then please
Yeah,
help him
yeah,
out.
totally.
Help a brother out.
Totally. I thought Pedro was going to be the villain of the film, just based off of nothing.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
turned
yeah,
out
yeah.
he was just a good dude. That was cool. I liked their
Yeah, I
fight.
thought he was good.
And kind of his redemption a little bit. That was neat. I felt bad for him, of course.
Yeah.
I liked the idea that there's another guy that the people follow, and then he gets struck down,
Yeah.
before his time.
Yeah, yeah.
That was neat as well. What else did I like? I thought his mom, Lucius's mom, did a good job acting. I thought she
Yes.
conveyed a lot of
Yeah,
emotion.
yeah. No, I thought she was
as
good.
well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I liked her character. Yeah, she was very heartfelt. You could clearly see that like she had her heart on her sleeve, and that was nice to see.
I liked the medic dude. He was kind of cool. Who was helping
He was
him
cool.
out.
Yeah.
He just kind of had a little air of mystery
What's
to
his
him.
name?
I don't remember the
Yeah,
actor's
yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah.
But he was just neat. I liked him.
No, yeah, he was good. He was funny. Yeah, yeah, he was a good character.
What else? I kind of liked as well the kind of, because you kind of, with how similar this one is to the first one, right? You sort of expect
Yeah.
at the end that he's going to die, just like his dad, right? And die for something greater and kind of. So I liked that from the very beginning they set up him kind of trying to get to that, Hades underworld, whatever, and wherever they go when they die, the other side of the river. And I liked
Right,
that
yeah, to get
kind of
his wife.
motif
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
of him. Like he's like, I've got no fear to die. My wife's over there. I've got nothing left here. Like I just want to get my
Yeah.
revenge, and then I'm chilling. So I liked how they kept kind of like
Yeah.
you'd see it in a dream or he'd see it in a vision or whatever. That was cool. I thought I liked the visual of that. I liked kind of the theme of him, and then him being able to grow past that into forgiveness of Pedro Pascal, and the growth into trying to fix the world to be better for everyone else. In a way, I thought that was cool. And then when he lived at the end, that kind of brought it full circle, where he's like, okay, now I've got a little bit of something to live for here. I'm the rightful king of Rome.
Makes a bit
and
more
I can,
sense. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I can make a positive change. So I thought that was
Yeah, it can make a
good.
difference.
Yeah, the rubbing the dirt thing. Both times he did it, I was just like, this is forced. Even the line when they first fight in front of the twin emperors, those two guys, and the emperor comes out and goes, oh, it doesn't say entertained. He's like, we are all amused. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're
Yeah,
not trying
we,
that.
We get it.
It's like, copy my homework. Don't make it too
Come
obvious.
on.
Okay. All right. I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else that you liked that we haven't touched on yet? You mentioned Denzel. It's okay if not. You rated it 4, which is, I think
Yeah,
you're totally
I don't-
justified. Honestly, I
Yeah,
get it.
I don't think there's loads. I think the only other thing I'd want to mention is when they had like that flashback moment of when like Lucius's mom is kind of like saying, oh yeah, you had to leave, and they show that little background bit of like when she put him on a horse. And
Yeah.
so, like they clearly somehow managed to work out getting the original actress for Lucius's mom, or like make her look exactly the same.
Yeah.
But then Lucius is a boy. You're like, bruh, that's a completely different blonde kid. I was so confused. I was like, put a wig on the lad. Like, sort something out. I was like, they do not look the same. I was like, even if you're trying, I don't want to know what the budget was for this film. I don't want to know, because I think it would be a scary amount of money.
Massive.
But yeah, I was just like, surely that's a little detail where that was good. I was like, oh, we're getting a backstory here. I'm excited about that. And then you saw that quality, and I was like, flipping, come on, man. So yeah. Anyways, I think that's my piece said and done. I didn't want to pick apart the film for no reason, but I think I'm not the only one who's going to say the expectation level was high because of the magnitude of the film that we're dealing with. And there was an opportunity to do something great. And even though that opportunity was slim, in this case, I think it was missed. So
Yeah.
I think that's me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for me, I'm just like, what I took away was a great Denzel character. I didn't care much for Lucius. He just didn't. That wasn't it for me.
Yeah.
But I think there was enough outside of him, and the fights are cool enough that I was just kind of like, it's all right. And I think going in, I had pretty low expectations, definitely wanting to like it. And so I think it's another classic case of like, where do you set your expectations? If they're up here and you miss them, it hurts a little bit more than if they're down here and it's like slightly higher. You know what I mean? So I think that's a little bit at play here. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, can you think of any other examples where they've taken a movie from, some time ago and made a sequel? I guess Beetlejuice. I haven't seen either one of those films, so I couldn't tell you if like the sequel holds up. Or I heard good things about it, frankly.
Well, like what about Blade Runner?
Oh, that's a perfect example. Nailed it, actually. Crushed that one. Yeah.
I haven't seen the original, but I've heard only good things, and the new one is
I like the new one better, but I'm not like a...
Did you?
Yeah. I don't think I fully got the original Blade Runner, and I can't remember which version I saw. Enough. I know there's like 3. There's like theatrical, director, and like extended, and they all have like different people changing the ending and stuff like that. But Blade Runner original, it was like cool. I mean, it's clearly an inspiration for like a lot of things, movies and games and media.
Yeah.
So I think it's a revolutionary, landmark film. But like 2049, that just visually like blew my mind. So that's a perfect example of hitting that mark, I think. And I think critics agreed. It didn't do so well commercially, but I think people agree that is a great film. So that's a perfect example. Yeah, well done. Thinking of that. So it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's possible.
It is. It is possible.
If you could, I thought of another poor one. Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones 4 was tough. I didn't think Dial of Destiny was the worst. It was just a little bit sad.
I didn't think it was.
I didn't love
it was terrible. It was quite far-fetched.
The lady lead. She was a little bit much for me, I think. Phoebe Waller-Bridger's character. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a massive fan of her either.
I had trouble getting behind her, but.
I
thought the plot was interesting. It was kind of cool. Yeah. I thought it's a little bit. It was less silly to be than Alien somehow.
What's his name?
Mads Mikkelsen. He's always excellent. Yeah. Yeah.
Again, terrifying, hateable.
I mean, he just brings that gravitas to everything he does. It's incredible. It's incredible. Even when he's a good guy, it's like, what are you hiding? But
yeah. Who are you? Was the Aliens one number 4? I don't know if I've ever seen that one.
The Crystal Skull, yeah.
Because the first, the first 3 are great.
Tough.
Then there's that.
I think 1 is great, 3 is great, 2 for me is mid. That's the one I've seen the least easily, so I'd have to rewatch it. I didn't love 2.
Man, yeah, fair.
We could do some film reviews coming up. We could do that.
We should definitely do some film reviews coming up. I'd love that. Maybe a little.
Okay, all right. Final question here though. If you could think, and it's okay if you can't, we've done no prep for this after all. If you could think of one movie that you would want them to try a sequel for, from at least 10 years ago or more, what would you want them to try and bring you a sequel? I don't know if I have an answer off the top of my head here.
Yeah, no, I don't think I do.
Leave
because
the past in the past.
So many films I don't want to. Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass. But
yeah.
Let me ask you, because this is hard. Maybe we can readdress this in the next pod. Would you see Gladiator 2 again?
Not in theaters. I think I'd watch it again at some point. Yeah.
Would you if it was on streaming services, but you had to pay for it? Would you do that?
No.
Only if it was free.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of streaming services, so I've got.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So if I have to pay for something, I'm like, I'll wait until it comes available somewhere else. I think it did. I think the worst, maybe not the worst thing. One unfortunate thing that can be said for this film is that it really made me want to watch the first one again, which is not the feeling you want to get out of a sequel.
No.
I think when you walk it out of something and you just think, man, I should go see the original. It's like, probably you haven't scratched that itch that you were going for.
It's interesting that you say that, because if anything, watching the second one made me appreciate the first one even more, because I was like, wow, they did that so well. So well. The score, when you think about when they did it as well, like with the visual effects, like
100%.
Yeah. Just look, and if you have seen the first one, then great. If you've got a burning desire to see the new one, then sure, do it.
Do it, yeah.
But actually, maybe just leave it.
Oh.
And just enjoy the bliss of the first one.
Yeah.
That's me.
Interesting. Thank you for listening to our little. This became quite a whole thing. We were initially like,
That was a lot
wait,
of
did we talk? Did you see Gladiator 2? Did we talk about Gladiator 2? They were
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
hold on,
yeah,
wait.
this was so
let's
off the
do
cuff.
a quick little review, and then here we are, 30 minutes later. But no, this has been a blast. I definitely want to talk about more movies with you in the future, especially if they're current or maybe even just revisiting some. That could be quite a fun time as well. But from Joel and myself here at the SpewnedIt crew, we thank you for tuning in, and we hope you have had a marvelous holiday season. Let us know what movies you might be looking forward to next, and or if you would ever remake a favorite movie or provide a sequel for something that could need a little touch of new paint. So leave those in the comments below. Hope you have a safe and blessed holiday season, and we will see you very soon.
Peace.